You know, the financial world is getting some massive upgrades right now. And honestly, it's way more dramatic than you might think. So, what happens when a huge legacy bank gets a tech facelift? Or when crypto gets a VIP pass into the most exclusive private vaults? And what about when a buy now, pay later underdog gets a surprise invitation to sit at the big kids' table? Well, we're going to break it all down. Let's get into it.
And you know what? That is the perfect way to frame this. Because this isn't just about a bunch of boring corporate press releases. No, no. This is a story with real drama, some incredibly smart strategy, and alliances that frankly nobody saw coming. It's a high-stakes game, and we're going to walk through the most important moves.
All right, so here's our plan for today. We're going to look at three totally different kinds of upgrades. One in infrastructure, one in product, and one in pure status. And you'll see how they all point to a brand new playbook for the entire financial industry. Let's jump in. Okay, first up, let's talk about the plumbing. We've got a massive regional bank, Fifth Third, who realized that its tech for corporate clients needed a serious upgrade. But here's the thing. Instead of trying to build it all from scratch, they made a much, much smarter move. And what you really need to understand is just the sheer scale of this partnership. We're talking about $5.6 billion in annual commercial card spending. This is not some tiny pilot program. This is a major established bank basically handing over the keys to its entire commercial card business to a fintech. That's huge. So how does this actually work? Well, it's a really simple, pragmatic trade. Fifth Third already has the customers, right? And the massive balance sheet. Brex, on the other hand, brings this sleek, modern technology that CFOs and their teams absolutely love. I'm talking real-time spending controls, AI that just automatically classifies your expenses, all the good stuff. It's really a perfect match. And this gets right to the heart of the dilemma that pretty much every bank is facing today. Do you spend years and literally millions of dollars trying to build this kind of tech yourself, knowing that by the time you're done, it's probably already out of date? Or do you just partner with a company like Brex that's already mastered it? I mean, for Fifth Third, the choice here was a total no-brainer. So what this all points to is a really important shift in how we think about this space. For years, right, the narrative was always that these nimble fintech startups were going to come in and just completely crush the big, slow legacy banks. But that's just not what's happening. Exactly. They're collaborating. They're using these partnerships as a strategic shortcut. It's a way to leapfrog years of development and give their customers the modern tools they want right now. Why go to war when you can just form a super powerful alliance? And this analogy just nails it. The bank gets to keep all its loyal fans, its customer base. But by plugging in Brex's tech, the whole experience, the whole sound suddenly gets this immediate modern upgrade. It is absolutely the smartest way to stay relevant. All right, let's move on to our second story, which actually builds on this same theme of partnership. Only this time, it's not about upgrading the back-end infrastructure. This is about upgrading the actual products being offered to the bank's wealthiest clients. And yeah, it involves a pretty famous name in crypto, Coinbase. Just think for a second about how you used to have to buy crypto. It was a whole ordeal, right? You had to open a separate account on an exchange, manage a totally different app, deal with some pretty confusing security stuff. Now, for PNC's private bank clients, it's just right there. Inside the banking app they already use every day, the one they already trust. All of that friction has just vanished. And again, this is another one of those perfect win-win situations. Coinbase handles all the really complicated, heavily regulated crypto stuff. The trading, the custody, the compliance. PNC, on the other hand, just provides the distribution channel to its wealthy clients who are already curious about this stuff. So what's the result? Crypto gets a dose of mainstream credibility, and the bank gets to offer a hot new asset class. Everyone's happy. I love this analogy because it's just so true. At first glance, adding Bitcoin to a fancy private banking platform might seem a little out of place. But it taps into this massive pent-up demand from clients who were interested but maybe a little hesitant to jump in on their own. It's the modern, approachable option that brings a whole new energy and a whole lot of new capital to the same old traditional menu. And for our final story, we've got a totally different kind of upgrade. This isn't about tech or product partnerships. This is a story about a company just grinding its way to a whole new level of credibility and status in the public markets. So what in the world is the S&P SmallCap 600, and why should you care? Well, think of it like getting into a really exclusive club for smaller public companies. The most important part is this. Once you're on that list, these huge investment funds that track the index are now required to buy your stock. It's like getting an automatic infusion of cash and, more importantly, a massive stamp of approval from Wall Street. Now, what's so interesting here is Sezzle's journey to get to this point. I mean, during the whole BNPL hype fest, everyone was just focused on growth at any cost. But when the market turned, Sezzle did something different. They hunkered down. They focused on profitability, on making smart decisions. And while a lot of their competitors stumbled or even crashed, they proved their business model was actually sustainable. This index inclusion, that's the reward for all that discipline.
And that just sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Sezzle just got a major status boost. It's being recognized for doing the hard work, and now it gets to play in a totally different league, benchmarked against other serious, established companies. It is a huge, huge milestone for them.
Okay, so we've looked at 3 really different companies getting 3 really different kinds of upgrades. We've got a bank, a crypto exchange, and a buy now, pay later player. On the surface, they don't seem to have much in common. So what's the thread that ties all of this together? What's the new playbook?
It really all boils down to this. The big takeaway from Brex is that banks are now buying their future tech instead of trying to build it. The lesson from Coinbase is that assets that were once on the fringe are now being pulled right into the core of traditional finance. And the story of Sezzle shows us that good old-fashioned discipline can earn you a massive upgrade in status and visibility. The old rules just don't apply anymore.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future. As these lines between fintech and bank just keep getting blurrier and everyone starts partnering up and integrating, who actually wins? It's a whole new ballgame out there, and it's not at all clear who's going to have the ultimate advantage.